Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our celestial quantum healing. And we have the hostess with the
Welcome.
mostest, Miss Sundana, the alchemist, aka Brady Gal. Hi, Brady.
Yay. And our special guest, Miss, your official fairy godmother.
Yes, it's official. She's here. She has arrived.
Yes.
Yeah. I notice my daughter talks like that too. She'll be talking about herself and she'll be using these pronouns. So I've been kind of correcting her so she know both. But we do not be paying attention to how these little ones, they just suck up everything. I mean, everything. Like,
Oh, yeah. Little sponges.
I mean, it's fascinating though. I mean, you get it, but when you see it, you're like, go find you
Yeah.
something to do. They are like, I'm doing it. This
That's
is what
probably
I
why my mom, that's probably why my mom locked us out of the house all the time.
Yo, that's such a good idea. Like the streets, when you got so many children, you know what I mean? Like the street lights
Yeah.
ain't on. Why are y'all at the door? Like go outside. That's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
idea.
No, she moved us out onto a farm so she could just kick us out, not have to worry about, close streets and none of that. Like she just wanted to get us out of the house. So
Wow.
that and you saying that, like now
He's so
I
smart.
understand.
Fortunately, I can't.
Yeah, it was a lot easier back in the 80s to do that. Nowadays, a little different.
All you need is your own backyard. Just like motherfuckers out in the backyard. Okay, you need a bucket. You got a
Yeah.
potty. I'm just playing, y'all.
Oh
Maybe.
no, we definitely went outside, went to the bathroom outside. We definitely did.
Yo, so it's a story that goes around in my family, right? I'll be the first to tell it so that when I am like, oh, spotlight and everything, I tell it for me. So my great grandma was still alive and I was so little. All I remember was like I guess y'all would call it a sun deck now. The way my grandma house was like the front door. Like you walked up like 5 steps and then it was a front door that was like this heavy ass like glass door. And then it was like a patio, like porch, and you can sit on, but it was in, you know what I'm saying? It was built in, you know what I'm
Screened
saying?
in.
Not screened, but it was actually built like wood, you know what I'm saying? Like a real built-in situation. And then it was
Like windows all around
yeah,
or
windows,
yeah,
wood, like it was
yeah,
really constructed. And then
yeah.
then there's the front door, then into the house. So I remember I was running back outside and I just heard cussing, like, dang it, run your ass back in here. Da, da, da. And back then, switches, my great grandma, your ass would get it with a switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was getting whipped with switches and extension cords. All right. So I just remember I was scared as hell. But unfortunately for me, I ran outside, but I had to use the bathroom real bad. And I just remember I was so scared. I was scared to go in the house and get yelled at, but then I was scared to use the bathroom on myself. I knew I was gonna get it. So right in the front yard, my grandma had this big ass tree that was right there. I took a shit like right in the front yard at the tree. I was scared. And so that shit is talked about. Anyway. Yeah, talking about locking the kids out, like yo, their minds. I mean, our minds were super creative. We will improvise. We will find a way. Okay.
Hmm.
So, I'm sure as we usually do, we're gonna go shroom, 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 shroom. But what I really wanted to
Yeah.
talk about was drama, you know? and what that looks like. And this is a big deal because I feel like a lot of healing within self comes first with calling a thing a thing. You know what I mean? Kind of can't be in denial about it. You got to call a thing a thing. And I feel like drama has such a negative connotation for those that have a very dramaful life. Some people can use the word extra. Lot of personality. You know, there's the drama over the top. Um, like I said, it could be looked at in such a negative way when I feel that it's just human nature. I mean, we could go back to like just watching movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's gonna watch a movie where there's no like drama, no plot, no action? You know, the movie's not gonna do very well. You know, so I feel like it's the same in our lives, even those that don't have big personalities or even uh, not really loud people. In some way, they still carry this out. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel because everybody is different, like, yes, drama is a part of life. There's always something going on. The world turns constantly. It's just, there's always something. It all depends on where you are at personally in your own self, because you're gonna focus on that drama that you feel attached to. And so, depending on your level of, I don't know if you want to say evolution, or your level of, I don't give a fuckness, like,
Our awareness.
yeah,
Mhm.
which comes with evolution. Um, yeah, you're gonna pick and choose your drama. So yeah, there's always gonna be drama, but it's like, is it gonna be drama about, like, oh, how am I gonna get this shipment done? They made this huge order, and I have to figure out how to make this stuff. I promised them at a certain, like, there's that kind of drama. And then there's like regular bullshit drama that other people bring you, you know, uh, whatever it is. And it may not be bullshit or whatever, but um, is it created from you, or is it other people bringing it to you? Because we create all types of drama on our own. So the drama you're creating on your own is also the drama you're attracting. So, like, what kind of drama are you creating? Because yeah, drama is what, like, it's the same as a movie. What do they call? They call, it drama in high school growing up. Like, that was theater class, was drama. So it's like, are you creating drama on an level where it elevates you, or are you just dealing with the drama that other people bring in? Like, and then I also had some questions, and it's interesting that we're talking about this, because my first question that I had just came up with was, following your heart, and what does that really mean?
Mm.
So when we're really living from our heart space, what is the drama looking like? Because we are the creators of everything, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. You create your whole life. I create my whole life. So what kind of drama are you creating?
And this is important
You
because
check.
you know, just like any movie, right? The drama is the focal point of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'll use myself for an example, of course. Like, I used to think that word was offensive. You know, somebody be like, "Oh, you drama, you this, you that." Like, what? I do not even like drama. You know, as I say it all dramatically, right? You know, and so then when I sat back one day and I was like, what is drama for real? And if I'm dramatic, then everybody is fucking dramatic, you know? So then that's when I stopped thinking of it in such a low vibrational way and just as like fucking human nature. And how do you, what is the story that you tell about drama? Number one. And
Yeah. It's a spectrum like everything.
like everything else, what is the story? If you want to get to the core of who you be, you need to find out the story that you're telling yourself about any and everything. Mm. That's the secret. And so once I let go of, this low vibrational meaning and feeling and all that other shit, and I was like, I am like dramatic. That changed my whole like trajectory for real. And then
And the problem it's me.
no, but obviously the problem is always you. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course. But it changed the way that I viewed people and life in general. I really feel like it helped with compassion and empathy. Because if I consider this a human trait, then when motherfuckers are displaying the drama that they need in their life, I have a lot more compassion, empathy, and grace. And then in having all at least those three things right there, then you're able to come from a clear space without fog, of is it really time to separate from this individual? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this the kind of drama? Because there's boundaries with everything, right? So, is this the type of drama that works for me or no? And what I started to realize was I was surrounded by people I ain't really like they drama. So then I was like, what is going on with me? Then that's when I realized that, I still kind of had a big ass mouth. Me, yes, me. I still could be like, you know? And so, what was that attracting? Either people that go, or people I felt like I had to, or situations that would go like way too far because it's people that's, and then, they playing out like a movie in front of me. You got the motherfucker that's popping, and then you got the person that don't have the tolerance for the, and then shit just go way too motherfucking far. You know what I'm saying? So that opened up so much. So I learned myself that, okay, so I like a little bit of drama. I was told very young that I was going to be in the light. Kind of fought that, but that's another discussion. But then I realized that with my extraness, my dramatics, I made a good like spokesperson, a good motivator. Like, so then I started illustrating my drama through my speech. My speech became real, real colorful, but in a higher vibratory way. You know what I'm saying? Whereas my mouth could be vicious and talking crazy to people and having an attitude. My mouth could be used as a weapon. It could also be used as a tool to assist. And I don't feel like I would have ever came to that conclusion if I didn't sit and look at drama in an unbiased way. Then from there, I started realizing whether to proceed or not proceed with certain people. Once in a peaceful place, once in a non judgmental and unbiased place where it's just like, because you go through experiences, fortunately, unfortunately for myself, where I was that person where when I went through the beginning stages of not being judgmental, I was around all kinds of people, drug dealers, hoes, pimps, you know what I'm saying? What some people want to call the lowest of the lows. And then, from being around supposedly the highest of the highest, people with millions of dollars, you know, people living certain kind of lifestyle. So it's like I had seen it from the bottom and had seen it from the top. And what I just realized was that we are all attached. As many people as it is, we've talked about this before, you're creating a different, you have your own reality. So it's like all these different realities. And then this universe, our universes do something that's so perfect, right? We come together and then we have like this collective type reality, even though we're having this individual experience with an individual reality, you know? It's complicated and not simple all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, though I don't have no judgment or bias, I can't be like hanging around with the hoes if I'm not kind of like a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Because then hoe shit happen. Like, motherfuckers getting drugged and raped type shit, you know? And so it's like if I'm not there to assist the situation, meaning being a consult or such to assist someone on if they feel like it's an issue with being promiscuous or having a variety of sorts, then that's not a situation that I prefer to be around because the consequences, the cost is too high for me. You know what I mean? So that's when I think the drama is a great healing tool and a great way to confront yourself, a great way to create your boundaries.
Definitely. Hmm. No, it's interesting because I've never really looked at it like this in in a way where, it's just part of nature. I always thought it was just like other people or, what I'm attracting. So, yeah, it's interesting how you really deal with it in individual, just to see how individuals deal with it. It's interesting because I'm just like, God, I never really thought about it like that, the whole time you're talking. And so it's like, it's, it's got a lot of things going on in my mind right now.
Yeah, like the chick that, like I know people with all these different uh drama meters, in between these drama ranges, So I have a cousin who you can't tell her this, just like you couldn't tell me this, but it's like if everything in her life is calm, like if there's nothing going on for real, like it's just peaceful. She's bored out of her goddamn mind. She's gonna get pissed off over nothing. And like she creates this hostile, chaotic environment. Now that's the type of drama I can't I can't get with. And then I know some of my elders, right, who are old school. So it's like their journey growing up was of obviously totally different than our age group. They had to deal with a lot of shit that we didn't have to deal with. So they're a little bit more on survival mode. They're a little bit more into You work hard. You know what I'm saying? So they will never go the easy route when it's right in front of their face. Like the dramatics has to be digging down, working hard. And I mean, it's in all the arenas throughout their life. And it's just like, why do we have to, I guess how we kind of feel about the younger generation now, because they're that. Or, everybody's like, they have no discipline. They don't work. They don't, but it's like, why do you have to work that hard to live? Like, why do you need to work in a hard ass factory job, where you die of complications from the factory job? When you could have worked at fucking Walmart and just started from the bottom and worked your way up to manager, or location manager or some damn word, had less health risk and you know what I mean? Like, um, so it's like just all these different stages of drama. And I really invite us to see where it is in our lives and where it has been, what you have put up with. Because I guarantee you, anytime we can all sit back, right? Anytime you've ever dealt with a lover or even a friend, right? And you'll be like, I can't even believe I used to do that. Or I can't even believe that I let a person like take me there. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? It was all about your drama meter. You know what I'm saying? Which is why you were dealing with those sorts of like individuals. So I think this drama thing's pretty deep.
And it makes me wonder like what different things, different traumas people have gone through, because our trauma really does affect us on uh, when we're not, when we don't let go of it. It affects us on certain levels where, we might not think we're worthy of certain things. So then we'll create the drama to make that happen. Um,
True.
and like then the programming, especially with the elderly, like the baby boomer generation, our elders, they have been traumatized in different ways and programmed in different ways. So are we really truly aware of the things we've been programmed to do, and or like, are we really living authentically? Because a lot of people don't even know what their authentic self looks like or likes or any, like, I've been
Not even the
very,
people that know it all. Like me, I know it all and don't know shit, you know?
and it's so deep because thing programming is so deep, trauma can be so deep. Like, I am learning new things about myself every day, and I'm so grateful to be in a space where I can rest without guilt and really love on myself and figure myself out, like get to know myself. I know not everybody has that,
But I think
has,
what you said was super
you know,
crucial. And I feel like this holds a lot of weight for the masculine, right? For the men, because when you don't deal with your trauma, right, your expression of it comes through your theatrics, which is what we call the drama. You know what I'm saying? So, like, say you're a man, huh?
no, I was, because trauma and drama sound the same, so I'm just having like
Yeah, right?
my better word.
Um, yeah, I was just having this conversation with someone else for the 99th gazillion time. Um, but so like masculine, for instance, I think we're just now really kind of evolving to a space where we are starting to understand that the masculine needs a safe space to be vulnerable and be able to express themselves and talk about their traumas. We have a lot more. Though I can really only think of a couple off the top of my head, males that are in like the psych fields. And I include that with coaching and therapy counselors, where men are assisting men with their traumas. But having had said all that, like, perfect
Yeah.
example, right? You got a dude that grew up in the hood, you know what I'm saying? His mom's got a million children, you know, dad's not in the picture. Um, his mom's a firecracker. She got a mouth on her. He becomes a teenager. His first girlfriend, she got a mouth on her. You know what I mean? So, and then it's like, it's not just your mom, it's your sisters. And, you're constantly, if you're not at home, because at home, like say there's 6 children there, so you got a home full of people. You go to school, it's full of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're used to, as a child, because it starts super young, you're used to this heightened level of chaos and of energy around you, especially when you got women, you know, you know. So it's like you get older. Not only that, but then there's trauma attached to that. The trauma of what could have been witnessed when you're dealing with these type of women. You know what I'm saying? Maybe what kind of drama you seen your mom go through with men, what kind of drama you seen your sisters go through with men. You know what I mean? What comes along with all this barking. So now you get older as a man. What do you attract? Like this is, this rotation of what you keep attracting. And I really feel like being a chick that's from Chicago, you know what I'm saying, and have moved around a lot and seen so many different kind of dynamics. The men that I see that, you know, what Cardi say? Because niggas love a toxic bitch. You know what I mean? Are these men that kind of had that environment coming up, and they don't realize themselves how that plays out. Like you can't really have a chick. You can't really evolve with a female, you know, who's a retiree big mouth. And it's just like, I'm not into yelling, hollering, and screaming every time I want you to do something or anytime you volunteer to do something, right? And I got to yell, holler, and scream, be like, well, you said you, and then that's the only way you move. Like, you don't hear me unless I'm yelling, hollering, and screaming. But you don't realize that. And then if there's no drama with the chick, what are you doing to cause drama? Like, I really feel like that's so absent upon men that grew up in like real urban environments, you know what I'm saying, with and were raised primarily by women. Family dominated by women. And like that's a hard lifestyle to lead for some
I,
women where you got a
that
lot of
is.
children, you got to provide for these children, you got to work jobs. And then there are, let's just keep it real because I've dealt with this ugly truth from men who be like, my mama was old. She was old. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I feel like this topic is more detrimental to our culture than we think, to the American culture, period. Like our drama meter. I think that's really a thing.
Well, I mean, and then look what especially, the black people, melanated people, like you've gone through so much trauma in the last 400 years alone, let alone in America, just in the United States. Let alone before that like the things that have been stolen from you, like I repping my Trayvon Martin shirt because
There's been
it
a lot of
un,
psychological warfare.
until black people matter, nobody matters. Um, you know, and like it's so deep, the trauma, right? So I really feel strongly about the millennial generation, like our generation, being the ones that change things. Because it's like you're at a point when you're like, no, we're stopping this. Like we're not continuing this cycle of um drama, this cycle of having to work hard, this cycle, like that's not the narrative we're working with anymore. Like I really am strong in that feeling where I know a lot because I even just in living life and like I've had I'm very grateful I've been able to travel around and you know talk to different people, and all my generation, they're all cycle breakers, all of them. And it looks differently in every single situation, but yeah, it's just what trauma are you dealing with genetically, like in your DNA and also in your own life? And are you really doing things to let that go and to end that? Or are you just continuing and dealing with what you know? Because this is, you know how to deal with it.
Whether or not
If
it
you
serves you or not, you feel like this is your way of dealing with it.
yeah, I mean, it's so deep. It's so deep. And then even the older generation, like, oh, like they went through a lot in during the 50s and 60s and 70s. Like, oh my God. And like we wouldn't need, God, I don't even know how I would deal with some of the like being sprayed with hoses and attacked by dogs and just like killed for no reason. Like, oh my God, it's so deep. Like, how do you even start to process that, to let go of it? And I
Yeah,
haven't even been through that. Oh my
I know.
God.
I feel
Sorry.
like I think it's just about the eras that we grew up in. You know what I mean? Like for us, it'll be those looking back on it, looking back on us growing up and the times we're in now. Like, how could people of the same color skin just be murdering people? How were we also contributing to the pharmaceutical epidemic by pumping it in our own neighborhoods? And that's not even a skin thing. You know what I'm saying?
So
Like
much.
that's
Yeah.
that's every culture. Like I don't want to say culture because normally when I say culture, I just mean Americans. But
And
regardless of the color of your skin, like.
it should always be that. It should always be regardless, right? But we've been so
And
strongly
then we're in an
programmed
epidemic too
into
with children
thinking
being.
that skin color matters. Is so crazy. So
It's crazy
crazy.
as hell. And this it's very interesting conversation as me, a person with color, to have with other people of color. I don't really have the
Oh, or me and you
conversation a
right
lot.
now. Like
I
just
don't
me and
really
you
have the
right
conversation a lot because, especially, no offense to no one, but especially when you talk to like Muslims, you know what I'm saying? um, or you talk to people of color that really have a disdain for white people or Europeans or, paler skin. And it's just like, I mean, you want to talk about slavery. I mean, they were originally slaves, and it was your own people that bamboozled you into thinking that these pale people were your enemies when actually they were sent here to be the fall guy. you know? So it's like, who do you tell that? And it's just like this ongoing thing back and forth. And to me, there is no back and forth. Like to me, you're gonna regurgitate some shit to me that you read in a history book from your school. Like go pick up for real, these if you're gonna talk to me about a book, these indigenous people or family members, or better yet, all across the South, there are places that it's called unincorporated land. Go talk to the elders there. They will tell you what really happened. That's why they now live in incorporated lands because they were like, we're not dealing with this shit, period. Like, we're going to go over here on Rice's them land. You know Rice them people? Okay, so yeah, they over here, we got guns, we got whatever we need, we got farms. They sitting on 45 acres over here. So we're gonna take the rest of us and we going over here. The Thomases, you know what I'm saying? They over here, they got this, and this, you know what I'm saying? And these later became incorporated towns, meaning they don't have no police, that, like they govern themselves. Who know that shit was really popping like that? I ain't know that. I ain't know that. I just thought it was, just lands that people, you know what I'm saying, sovereign on and da 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 da. Da. I didn't know about none of this, and. But anyway, honey, that's a whole nother discussion. So I think that the major point of that was that in our DNA, there's, the traumas. And then you have, the trauma that you were born into, whatever you chose for your theme to be in this focus, whatever you're focused in on. So the way, so can we put it like this then? The way that most drama is expressed is through a person's dramatics. Like your dramatization is your expression of your traumas.
Or your expression of the level of elevation you're on.
Yeah, like it's like on that meter, you know. So for those of us that haven't dealt with our trauma, um, look, man, I really used to think that people who done trifling shit were just like for translation purposes, so everybody can understand. I used to think that those people were just evil, like y'all just fucked up, y'all just trifling, like something wrong with you, blase splee. But then when you meet a person, right? What do they say? All good intentions. Wait, good intentions paved the road to hell, or something like that. Or the road to hell was paved with good intentions. You know what I mean? You meet someone who has good intentions, but because they haven't dealt with their trauma, they can't see past their trauma and their drama. So they do real low trifling shit because that's part of their trauma. Like that's how they
That's
were
all I
dealt with.
know.
That's a normalcy for them, right?
Yeah, they're too. I mean, a lot of people, I know for me, I was too afraid to see what would happen if I did something different because I was always thinking about other people all the time. It was always, well, what would this person think? Whether it was my mom, my dad, my aunts, uncles, my grandparents. Like I grew up in a town where when you got a ticket, no matter what it was, if the police stopped and talked to you and had a conversation, it was in the fucking newspaper. So you couldn't get away with everybody knew everybody, like, so it's like I forget where I'm going with this. But
Everybody knew your business, and so you really
yeah, it's
cared
like
what people thought.
yes. And I always thought it would be wrong or too selfish of me to think of myself, because that's not what we were taught in church. I had to let go of a lot of religious programming, a lot. Religious programming from my parents, my grandparents, so much. And there's people whose lives were 100,000 times more harder than mine.
Right.
So I can only imagine what kind of drama they're allowing around their life.
And we give thanks to those people, by the way,
Yeah.
for for doing that for the collective. Having the strength and the courage and uh, that strong ass spirit to come here and live that out. We give so much thanks and honor and praise. Because that
Uh,
should, yeah.
It
So
is
I
not
think that's
easy.
important. So, what do we feel are some things to, because how do you push past, okay, let's start there. How do you push past the fear of the unknown? Because that's a real thing. People do not like change because they do not like the unknown. The fear of the unknown, not knowing an inkling of what is about to happen, is traumatic for some people.
Um, for in my personal situation, it was the agony of the knowing what I would be living with every day and growing into. It was the like that finally outweighed the fear of just running away and starting over and not knowing where I was going to end up. Like I was just so done. I had just reached a point where I was so done with dealing with other people's bullshit. And I'm like I'm not okay. Like I'm not in a good place. Like I had like was on bed, like not even really bed rest. I couldn't fucking move for like 6 months. I kept getting sick. Like nobody was coming and helping me. I was the only one helping myself. And it just like finally like clicked for me. Like I just had literally been through enough. Like I was like, you know what? I can't even stand to be in this space anymore.
Mm.
So I don't know if it's the same for everybody. And I know it's not everyone's different, whatever, but like that's what it was for me. Like I just was like, there's got to be people out there that will treat me better than this. There's got
So like a rock bottom of sorts.
yes, and like I had to really, and I've been running away from my family for so long because of the trauma attached to it that, but at the end of the day, it was really like some of my family members that were the only ones really there for me all the time, like my mom and my sister, you know. And I mean, yeah, a lot of them I don't really talk to, but I really am grateful for those two connections because it's like, and also my brother, they always telling me like how I deserve better, but I never listened to it until I had really been like just drugged through the mud, like emotionally, in this life that I was like running to. And I'm like, why am I running this way? But anyway, now I'm grateful that I took that leap and just left because even though I have to share a kitchen with 5 people and a bathroom, it's still better than what I was living before.
Right. You got a peace of mind, at least.
Yeah. And I'm finally getting to know myself, um, and being okay with being the villain in people's life because I am the villain in a lot of people's lives just because I let go and stopped calling. But yeah, it's
I think that might be the case, you know, whereas in order to go to the unknown, why we gotta always learn shit so extreme, you know, people gotta hit rock bottom, hard head make a soft ass. But I
oh my
think
God, I
that's,
heard that so much growing up. And
yeah,
because my dad would always say that to me because I was always hard at it, like because I was always getting whooped. But anyway,
yeah, I think that that's just at the point when your human ego self is like, okay, I don't know what else to do. Like where you're like out of ideas. I think that's what rock bottom is. You know what I'm saying? When you're out of
oh yeah,
ideas and you don't have a choice but to surrender to your higher self. You know,
it's
like,
like I didn't even have the strength to deal with it anymore. It's like God, I this may sound crazy. I am thankful for COVID because it really like that whole time period just elevated my life so
mine too.
intensely. And I'm so grateful. Um, because yeah, it really like being sick and um how like it really, really showed me who was really there for me. And also made it more okay for me to be like, it's okay to rest and take care of yourself. It's okay.
You finally gave yourself permission.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, not I'm trying to, I'm thinking back and I am fortunate enough to where in a lot of cases where I had these realizations, like I didn't have to like spiral just all the way, you know, the fuck down. Except for in this like last year, which I learned so much. The year of the pig and the snake, it's not a good combination. Or the year of the snake for the pig, it's not a good combination. And then a year 9 at that, uh, not only for the
Well,
collective, but
it
for
depends on how you look at
my
it.
year, you know. Um, dude, like I gained so much spiritual wealth, um, and lost material wealth. You know, so it does depend on how you look at it. So now this year's restructuring, rebuilding, definitely getting
All
on
that
board,
spiritual wealth is going to materialize in your physical.
giving it that opportunity to do that. Yeah, we like that. Giving it the opportunity to do that is crucial. Um,
Yes. Are you ready for that opportunity? Are you ready to be ready to be ready for that
yo, so
opportunity?
this is also valuable. Okay, first let me address the the drama thing. So, or the unknown thing. We talked about the unknown, stepping into the unknown, because that's one thing that is guaranteed about this life always is that things change. Things have to change. It's just the nature of everything. And so, having a fear of the unknown is that thing that keeps you stagnant, is the thing that keeps you unhappy, is the thing that keeps your nervous system at a rye, like waiting for some shit to happen, keeps your drama meter very low vibrational.
Hmm.
So it's very important to, because that is part of the human experience, right? You're going to experience fear sometimes. Sometimes you're going to be scared. Sometimes you're going to be afraid. It's not trying to stop that expression. It is living through it, to it, to it, and through it, you know? And that's crucial. And what I find is the more and more that you step into the things that you fear, afraid, scared of, right? The more and more you look at yourself like, why ain't I been done that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really make it up more in your mind than what actually plays out. That is my promise to you. Is it so much bigger in your mind than when it actually plays out? When you actually play it out in your reality, it's so much bigger in your mind. It's so much bigger. And so I'm not one that is
Yes.
without fault on that. Like, I can say I'm in a new level of surrender because I was doing the unknown thing. I was pretty K. Like, I'm jumping off a cliff. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, but that just became my mantra. I don't know what's gonna happen, but this is where we going. Whether my human self felt hesitant, it didn't matter. I just got used to jumping off fucking cliffs. You know what I'm saying? To the point to where it's like, oh, there's no cliff to jump off of. Hold on. Let me enjoy this downtime where there's no cliffs to jump off of. You know? Okay, but Brady K brought up another valuable point. So let's talk about being prepared for what it is you want and starting to live in that energy. Let's talk about it because what showed up for me in my reality was I was just like, why am I surrounded by so many lazy motherfuckers? Including myself. As I speak to you, I speak to myself. This used to be a famous saying I used to always say. I don't say it enough anymore, but as I speak to you, I speak to myself, right? So I started really looking into my life. It was like, what do you want? And it's just not been a want, it's been a no. It's been a no in my mind since I've been, I don't even know how young, that I wasn't just going to be like rich. You know what I mean? Like I was going to have some kind of status of wealth. And then when I was told how it was going to happen, I was like, no, I don't want it. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But so when I sat back and I was like, because, we all, if, to me, if you're doing this thing right, you always are going to go into your own inner universe. You're always going to, when you're very go oriented, like you're analyzing yourself, what trajectory you're on, your goals, da, 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 you know what I'm saying? What is it called when you go in there? Your upkeep, or there's a specific title. I can't think of it right now. But that was one of the things. It was like, so if you're going to be wealthy, what is it that you're doing? How many streams of income are you setting yourself up for? What products? Like, how are you building in your mind this empire, even though uh, you don't physically have it to see, touch, feel right now? Like, how are we building this behind the scenes so that we can? And then Once you get it, okay, can you stay up with the momentum of energy that it takes to maintain it? How many stories have we heard of people that have had millions and millions of dollars and niggas ain't got shit now? You like, nigga, how did you have $20 million, nigga, 5 years ago and you broke? Because once they got it, they couldn't keep up with the momentum of energy to keep it, whatever that looks like. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
April, it froze. I didn't, it just froze. And I don't know. What did you just say now? How many
like,
stories have you heard? What?
no, so it's like with whatever it is that you're aspiring to be, that you're aspiring to accomplish. There we go. Whatever it is that you're aspiring to accomplish, what is your prep for that?
For me, because I was in a place where, I don't come from money. I didn't have any money. Like I literally was just working for whatever I always thought like, okay, the harder I work, the more money I have. And then like it's like when my dad died, it's like something came over me and I was just like, huh, take it easy. Cause he always was like, always telling me that, take it easy, Brady, take it easy. Cause I'm as intense all the time.
The
Always
Aries.
telling me take it easy. So that's when I began manifesting these little things, and I didn't even really realize it till I looked back. But like I had gotten fired, and so I manifested getting money and not having to work because I got on unemployment, and then like I wanted to be in catering more, so that gave me the opportunity to be more available, so they could call me anytime, and that got the ball rolling. So many things just when that little like and I wish would happen. Oh, you know what? I'm not even gonna say it. Um, yes, my dad died, and then I realized it because of that traumatic experience. But like, I don't know. It clicks at different points for everybody, right? And so for me, because I was hearing the same thing, like, oh, what does a millionaire do? What is like, right? So I had to realize where I was at and look around and like, okay, and it was like the littlest things like cleaning my space.
Mm-hmm.
At the time
It
I
be
was
the
like renting.
smallest things. Tell him, Birdie.
Yes, I was renting a room from a lady in the projects, and I literally just started cleaning her whole house, scrubbing the walls. She got mad at me for cleaning her house, by the way. Um, but I was just, starting where I was at, and like there was a point in that relationship where I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not putting up with you anymore. And I literally moved out and asked, I like asked my siblings if I could sleep in at their house. Like I was sleeping on a cot in a kitchen, in their kitchen, for a long time. And then my sister moved out and then I got a room. But anyway, um, and then, so yeah, I just, it was the smallest. I, I was just like, oh, okay, well, if I'm a millionaire, I live in a clean space. And so I'm going to clean up my space. But it's not like it, so you have to remember it doesn't happen overnight, but it was just those little tiny things. And then also constantly visualizing and being like, oh yeah, this is what I want. And I just went with the flow, and I was listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks too. and
Mm-hmm.
her ready to be ready to be ready. And I was like, okay, I know there's going to be an opportunity coming. I know there's going to be opportunity coming. I'm going to be ready for it. And I just always kept thinking about that. And there was always the opportunity for whatever I wanted to do in every situation. There was always the opportunity that presented itself. It always came, and I didn't know when it was going to come, but it always did. And I'm just so grateful for myself because I didn't like, um, I don't know, I didn't really like go out of my way to I just kind of like let it flow and I'm glad I just let it go. Just everything's gonna be okay. That's the thing I tell myself all the time,
Mm-hmm.
constantly. Oh my gosh, what else? Um, yeah, just start where you're at. Look around you. Be grateful that you have whatever it is. If it's if you're sitting in front of whatever, if you're sitting under a roof, be grateful for that. If you're sitting at a desk, be grateful you can sit at a desk. If you have a bed to sleep in, be grateful for that. If you have a pillow, be grateful for your pillow. you know like anything, every little thing. If you have a shirt on, be grateful you have a shirt on.
Period.
If it's like, you have to start where you're at, because if you are not grateful for everything around you where you're at, when you become a billionaire, you're not going to be grateful for anything around you where you're at there either.
No, and then too, just being grateful. I think that's where most people, number one, because anybody can do it, you know,
Oh yeah, there's so many stories about it.
anybody can do it. And then you continue on this propeller where you keep attracting things that you're grateful for, you know,
Oh yeah.
just by being in a state of graciousness. So, that's huge. So
So
we like
huge.
the praise to self, self-love, self-praise, honoring self. I think that that's a major, major part of it, right?
And when you're being grateful, just remind yourself, like, I am grateful I brought this to myself. I am grateful I brought this in because you brought it in.
Hmm.
You brought that shirt on your back. You brought that pillow in your bed. You brought that bed. You brought it to you, you know, and that also makes you aware of what you're thinking about and what you're bringing to yourself, which brings on another level of change and evolution, because every time you do these things, you become aware of something else, and it e- expands your awareness. And every time your awareness expands, you expand, and your life, it's
Yeah,
really a
it's a
snowball effect.
continuum. Yeah, yeah. Snowball effect, continuum. Yes.
Yes.
So grateful, loving yourself, giving praise to yourself, the visualization, and then acting as if you're in that space that you desire in the now.
And be very conscious that you have to go to yourself where you're at, because have it has to be because where you're at is going to change, you know but she's like, you can be grateful of like the things to come too, but like it's very important to start where you're at.
And I think that what you said, I tried to write it down. Oh well. You were saying something about it was so beautiful. I was like, this needs to be a mantra. Put it on a shirt. Um, about looking for the opportunities. Basically looking for the opportunities to get what you want. Because they say what you're looking for, you'll find. So just knowing and expecting that the opportunities are, you know, and like
Yeah.
you know, and feeling that feeling of excitement because you know
Knowing
that
that
they're
they're gonna
coming.
come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's like the perfect example of faith. Let me write that down. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yes. Yeah, play this back and then you can add it to your website with your shirts.
I like that. Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. All right. Miss Brady K, is there any other subjects you would like to go into, or do we want to send the people out?
Oh, I just
Yeah.
want to send them out with a message of following from your heart and really, really, really taking the time to listen to it.
All
Like,
that mushy gushy stuff, honey. Listen to your heart. It feels so good.
yeah. And it's so fun. Like the very first question I came up with when I was doing it was like the channeling and meditation, right? Was following your heart and what does it really look like?
Mhm.
Like what and and the drama, what is your drama you're creating? What is your story? What is your movie? What is your drama? Drama is a movie, so are you really creating drama from your heart space or are you just dealing with the other drama that other people bring in? So
And no,
because I'm grateful for this topic because it really helped me think of drama in a whole nother light, in a whole nother way, because like I never really thought about the things I create as my drama, as like my story, you know. So I'm grateful for this.
yeah,
Thank
in
you.
your movie and the big, our big trauma and drama. You know what I mean? I think we
Yeah.
did a good job. And your celestial quantum healing by the fairies.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some more fairies up here. Like the fairy energy is just popping. We're gonna have to get some more fairies up here. I think
Yeah, we have
this is gonna be such a
a
very cool segment. Well,
yes.
it is a very cool segment. That did not come out the right way. But I just feel like there's so many spaces we could take this and I'm just excited for those of y'all that are binge watching. I can speak English a little bit. Binge watching this because um I feel like this is almost kind of a do it yourself type thing. You know what I mean? Like people can have
No
their
one's coming to save you.
their notebooks out and you know what I mean? Like every episode, like, because even though it be seeming like we're going on a tangent and everything, but we be right on topic, okay? And we always bring it back to the healing. And then, like, what are some steps? And we always talk about the shit that didn't work for us. Okay. So write down the shit that didn't work for us and why. So if you find yourself going down that trajectory, No, don't do it. And then some of the things that did work for us during our processes, and maybe incorporate those or make them into your own, add a little spice on top, a little berry dust on, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we love y'all so much. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to another great episode. I want to say fairy celestial quantum healing. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all so much. We love us so much, don't we? Yes.
Yes, we do.
And peace, love, and bliss. Peace, love, and bliss. And remember always do your heart boost. Peace.